A new report details why the Bengals' first-round pick has yet to sign his rookie contract and is yet to practice with the team. And in this video, I'll explain why it's the Bengals who are in the wrong here. Hi again, Bengals fans. John Sheeran of A to Z Sports Cincinnati here. This week is a big week for the Bengals offseason as Phase 3 of the offseason workout schedule begins this week with the start of organized team activities, otherwise known as OTAs. It's the start of 7-on-7, 9-on-9, 11-on-11. Obviously, there are no pads and contact within the trenches or anything like that, but this is the first slight taste of actual football in the offseason for the Bengals. And I would love for that to be where the main focus is, but unfortunately, there are still some dilemmas that the Bengals have to iron out with their team. And right now, I'm still stuck thinking about what's going on with Shemar Stewart. Now, for a quick recap, Shemar Stewart was the Bengals' first-round pick from the 2025 NFL Draft from a month ago. He was drafted 17th overall, and most of the players drafted around when he was drafted have already signed their rookie contracts. When you're looking at picks 10 through 19, only 2 players are unsigned at this moment, and one of them is Stewart. The other one is Walter Nolen, who was drafted one spot ahead of him at 16th overall by the Arizona Cardinals. But Walter Nolen is practicing with the team. Shemar Stewart is not. Now, as more time has passed, there have been more reports that have come out explaining why Stewart and the Bengals haven't reached an agreement yet. The latest report comes from Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk, who explains that there is language within Stewart's contract offer that would potentially put him at risk of losing guaranteed money in future years. For the sake of transparency, Florio described it as a phrase that causes a default in the current year to trigger a default in all remaining years. The contracts that first-round picks sign, they are 100% guaranteed, but there are ways in which those guarantees can be voided via suspensions and other things like that. And that default, which again could be triggered this year when he's just a rookie, it could void all the future guarantees in his contract. And that this particular phrase was not included in the contract that Amarius Mims, the team's first-round pick in last year's NFL Draft, it was not included in that contract, nor the contracts that Jamar Chase and T. Higgins signed back in March. Now, what's clear to me, even if we don't have all the details here, is that Shemar Stewart is not in the wrong here. He's not arguing about the total value of the deal. That number essentially is locked in based off of where you're drafted. But if, and this is obviously a big if the Bengals are trying to use Shemar Stewart's contract to establish a new precedent for how they handle all contracts, I think Stewart has a good leg to stand on here. The war between guaranteed money and the Bengals has been ongoing for as long as I've been alive, for as long as free agency has existed. It's something the team has struggled with for a long time, and as other teams continue to get smarter with how they handle the salary cap and how they handle their finances, it's only going to make the Bengals look worse. But if this is truly the case, if the Bengals are so worried about guaranteed money in the sense that they are trying to recuperate some of it in case something happens with Shemar Stewart specifically, because they're trying to use him and his contract to establish the new precedent here, if they're using him to do this new form of business, I completely understand why Shemar Stewart is not practicing. What I don't understand is why are they doing this to him specifically? Like, do they see him as someone that has no choice because he's a drafted player and his rights completely belong to them? And if he doesn't play football for the Bengals, then he doesn't play football for anyone? Are they potentially nervous because of the fact that they gave out so much guaranteed money to both Jamar Chase and T. Higgins that they don't want other players to get that idea that that guaranteed money is coming to them as well? Obviously, the guaranteed money is still the guaranteed money, and it's going to be paid to Shemar Stewart if nothing happens, but whatever this clause or this phrase may be, it seems like a way for the Bengals to get some of that money back if something does happen. And more importantly, it can be triggered this year when he's just a rookie. I don't know why Shemar Stewart is potentially the guinea pig here, and unfortunately, we don't know the full story about what's happening here at all. What I do know is that the Bengals made a choice to draft Shemar Stewart with the 17th overall pick. They took some initial criticism because of his lack of college production. They took all the stories about drafting an edge defender when they still have Trey Hendrickson still technically on the team, but he's looking for a new contract, and all the storylines that came with that, right? They stood on their decision to draft Shemar Stewart, and now, for whatever reason, they won't give him a contract similar to the first-round picks that came before him. So hopefully, in the near future, we either hear the full story from both sides of the equation here, or this whole situation just gets resolved and Shemar Stewart signs. But if this is truly one of their efforts to make sure that guaranteed money that they give out to players is not truly guaranteed compared to where other teams do it, it's just not the way to go about this. But then again, that's just Bengals business in a nutshell.